habit even baldness couldn't stop, and Anne smiled at him fondly. "You can always reward me with more money," she suggested. "But I couldn't write that off on my taxes. Besides, you just pour every penny into that damned house and still end up needing more." "So I would," she agreed, unabashed. "So, no raise, but no word processor either. I love my typewriter." She gave the machine an affectionate pat. "And she serves me very well indeed. If you're feeling guilty, give me an extra couple of days off this week. Holly and Ashley are coming down with a group of friends." "I shouldn't do it. Why should you want to take days off just to cook for a horde of starving artists?" "They're very successful artists, and I like to cook. Don't worry about me, Edmund. I can take care of myself quite well, you know." "Maybe," he replied, unconvinced. "You can have as many days off as you want. You know perfectly well I'm damned lucky to have you. But take the Chinese manuscript home with you and see if you can put in a few hours on it. The thing's Greek to me, and Harvey Etling needs some feedback by midweek." "God protect me from insecure authors," she said. "I'll do my best." "And try to have some fun." "I expect to. Wilson will be there at least part of the time to make sure I don't work too hard." Edmund made a rude noise. "Huh. Wilson Engels is about as much fun as a Victorian novel. How a bright, beautiful woman like you could possibly get engaged to such a stuffed shirt is beyond my comprehension." "Love is blind," she replied blithely, having heard all this before. "It must be. You and a lawyer." He snorted, drifting back toward his office, mumbling indiscernible imprecations. It was pitch black by the time she left the rambling Victorian house that held the offices of Joel's Publications, a small publishing house that specialized in textbooks, arcane dissertations, and insolvency. Of course, Bucks County wasn't the best possible place for publishing, but the Joel's family had lived there since the Revolution, and the very thought of moving the business to New York or even Philadelphia turned Edmund pale with horror. Publishing's loss was Anne Kirkland's gain. Working 3 days a week, a scant 7 miles from the tumble-down estate on the New Jersey side of the river, it was a job made to order. Tossing the 500-page manuscript onto the frayed front seat of her aging Volvo, she slid behind the wheel and offered up a silent prayer to the god of automobiles. On this occasion, he was disposed to be merciful, and after only one complaining sputter, the engine chugged into life. Pulling out into the rush-hour traffic on an early February evening, she mentally reviewed the dinner for that night. There would most likely be at least 7. Her father, the original absent-minded professor, had no classes that night, and her brother Ashley could be counted on bringing at least 2 of his hangers-on. As his success as an abstract artist increased, his coterie did likewise, efficiently devouring all of the quite fabulous sums Ashley could now command for his massive, somewhat dour paintings. Sleeping arrangements might be tricky, depending on who accompanied him and which way he was swinging, but Anne decided not to worry about it. It had never proven to be an insurmountable problem before. But Holly was a different matter. As cellist in the renowned Mellon Street Quartet, she spent a great deal of time on tour, and her visits to the old house were far too infrequent. This time she was bringing someone special. Not that all her men weren't special, to Holly, but this one was even more magnificent, or so she had informed Anne the previous night on the telephone. "I've heard that before, Holly." Anne had been skeptical. "How long have you been seeing him?" "Well, that's the problem." Her younger sister's breathless, bubbly voice carried over the line from New York. "I've only just met him, and I'm not quite sure what he thinks of me. He's absolutely the sexiest man alive, but I sometimes wonder whether he's taking me seriously." Anne had stifled her instinctive retort that Holly had yet to take any man seriously. "What is he, besides the sexiest man alive?" "Right now, he's a lawyer." "Yuck." "Now don't be prejudiced, Annie. You're engaged to one, and I've known some incredibly charming lawyers in my time." "You've known some incredibly..."